Hey guys, it's Upa here, and today I wanted to talk about a pretty hot topic in the community, which is re-rolling. So personally, many people have come to me asking should they re-roll on a new account for better heroes, and I kind of seesawed in terms of my opinion on this subject. Initially, I was kind of a fan of re-rolling. In fact, when I first created my account, I did do some re-rolls, maybe like 3 or 4, and after a while, I kind of swapped to the other end and was pretty against re-rolling, and now I guess I have a more balanced opinion about it. So let's talk about it. And I think this discussion has kind of changed, or rather people's opinion on it has kind of changed in recent months, particularly towards the end of this year, because of the level of heroes they have been introducing, right? In the past, we've had, of course, strong characters at their time. However, these characters usually excel in one area, maybe like defense or maybe damage, but never in both. But however, recently we've been getting heroes which just do so many things in one kit, or if they do only one thing, they excel in it so strongly, right? So for example, we've had heroes like Kalana. Kalana obviously is still primarily a support and survivability character, but she does her job so incredibly well. It's basically unparalleled compared to any other hero we have. And then we have, of course, fantastic damage dealers like Vasily. We have Tatron now as well, and many other multi-use characters which are both good in several areas across PvP and PvE as both supports and damage dealers, especially in the early game. Things like Kadrian, Penny, Whale, and now we have Sheena as well. So with this crazy high power spike we've been seeing recently, the value, I guess you could say, from rerolling has really increased massively. So when people reroll, I would say there's two things usually people try and go for. First is from the Miracle Wish banner, where there's the beginner Miracle Wish, which of course you can't see here since this is not a new account, but there's basically a Miracle Wish pool where you can select a hero of choice, and usually people go for Giselle, which I think most people will agree is basically the best limited time hero you can get as a new player at Exclusive 0. And the reason why people say Exclusive 0 is of course because, especially if you're a free-to-play player, it's not realistic for a player to get anything higher than that from a reroll. So Giselle Exclusive 0, of course, going to be absolutely fantastic, but other people who don't necessarily reroll from the Miracle Wish banner, which is really time-consuming and of course the chances is really low, is what they do is they reroll on the Excellent Wish and they go for one of the stronger heroes. So some of the common ones, or I think the most common one, is Lance, which actually isn't, of course, still an amazing character for free-to-play players and just all players, especially in the early to mid-game stages. He actually isn't used in late game anymore, but of course that's not relevant for a majority of players. But besides Lance, people go for characters like Kalana, as mentioned, Whale, Tatron, Penny, and so on. Many characters which currently are just simply fantastic, right? So of course, this just goes back to the question, is rerolling worth it? And I think, in my opinion, the main thing you need to ask yourself is, are you willing to spend the time doing it, right? So one reroll I think now takes like 40 minutes to an hour. Of course, it depends when you kind of change accounts when you're rerolling. You can just go for your first or second legendary hero and then reroll onto a next account, or some people try and get like the first 5 legendary heroes, which takes longer. But regardless, rerolling, unless you're extremely lucky, is a very time-consuming process. So is the time you spend, the initial time investment you spend getting a good hero, worth it? Well, it really honestly just depends. I'm personally somewhat of a believer that it doesn't really matter too much what you get in the early stage of the game, because if you use your resources well, you can, in some aspect, control what you get in the future, right? For example, if you save your Miracle Wishes and your gems well, you can control what you get by getting maybe a limited time hero or a strong legendary hero from the Miracle banner when it releases, or maybe you can wait for some sort of rerun or rate up banner like so on the Excellent and Supreme Wish banner to kind of control, or at least heighten your odds of getting specific legendary heroes. However, one thing I also do mention a lot on this channel is don't rely on luck, right? So especially when it comes to saving for Miracle Wishes, you should be saving as much as you can. Don't hope you get lucky, and try and save to guarantee that you can get what you want at the worst possible scenario. So with that kind of I guess, thought process, then it would appear optimal at least to reroll for a very strong start, because in some sense you can control what you begin with by rerolling, assuming you have as much time as you have. But yeah, I guess at the end of the day, it just really comes down to whether you are willing to put in the time to get a character and reroll for a strong start. So I'm kind of, I would say, rambling and not really getting anywhere, so maybe I can just summarize and let's end this video soon. So in my opinion, if you don't have the time or you're not willing to reroll, in the long run, it really doesn't matter too much. However, if you do have the time, having a strong hero or guaranteeing that you can get a strong hero by rerolling is going to be a big boon for your account, especially if you are a free-to-play player, because free-to-play players especially don't necessarily have the means to guarantee that they can obtain a certain hero that they like, right? And rerolling in some sense is a way of guaranteeing that. So as a free-to-play player as well, in the early stages of the game is going to be the place where you are the most competitive, which means you can rank the highest on the leaderboards. Over time, you're just going to slowly drop and drop as you fight players who spam, or you fight players as you change divisions. But the early game is where it's easiest to rank high on the leaderboards, and having a strong start does help with that. So in my opinion, if you are not willing to reroll, don't feel bad about it. Don't feel like you're missing out by necessarily, but if you are willing to put in the time, I would say maybe just do 5 rerolls, maybe 10 rerolls. Don't be someone who rerolls for like hours or days, or they wait every week for a new server. I'm personally not a fan of that. If you want to reroll a little bit, fine, do it, and hopefully you guys get lucky. But otherwise, maybe just tell yourself, I'm going to reroll 5 times, I'll choose the best start, and I think maybe that's the right balance of choosing to reroll and not to reroll. So yeah, let me know in the comments if you guys, when you started your account, if you rerolled for a good start, or if you guys just chose the first account and ran with it. I'm kind of curious to see what your thoughts are about it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.